welcome to Jeopardy with your host, Spencer Watry.
Thank you, everybody. I'm your host, Spencer Watry, and this is Jeopardy. Today's topic is the book The Hobbit. Let's take a look at some of our contestants. First, we have a returning champ, Shrey Shiviah. Next, we have Ethan McCoy. Third, we have Michael Gagne. And finally, we have Naren Matcha. Okay, so let's go over tonight's prize. The winner of tonight's Jeopardy will actually win this enchanted gold ring that actually can make you disappear. Anyways, guys, I took the ring off. And now to our returning champion, Shrey, who can pick the first question.
Thank you, Spencer. I'm going to go with 500 other.
Okay, so your question is, what allusions to Scandinavian and Norse folklore exist in The Hobbit?
I think I know the answer. So while Tolkien attended Oxford and King Edward's School in Birmingham, he spent much of his time reading and translating Old Norse. As a result, Tolkien's books were heavily influenced by the stories and texts he read with many characters, such as the dwarves, elves, and Gandalf, having an almost direct relation to figures from Norse mythology.
That's absolutely correct, Michael. You get to choose the next question.
I would like to choose other for 400.
Okay, so your question is, what is the significance of the named swords in The Hobbit?
Oh wait, I got this one. Okay. So when you name something, it gets cooler. And then when it gets cooler, it's like...
Let me stop you right there, buddy. Okay, so throughout the ancient stories, mythology, and folklore, naming swords has been the mark of a hero. Take, for example, King Arthur's Excalibur. Gandalf's and Thorin's swords have already been named Glamdring and Orcrist, which mark them as already being established heroes. But Bilbo's weapon had no name when he acquired it, meaning that he had not yet proven himself as a hero. Once he does prove himself by killing the spider, Bilbo names his sword Sting. This marks a turning point for Bilbo in the book, as he begins to be less constrained to as a meek hobbit and turns more towards his adventurous Took side.
That is absolutely correct, Shrey. You are now only behind Michael by 100.
Dang it!
You get to choose the next question.
Just choose 200 first row symbolism.
Okay, the question is, what does the Arkenstone symbolize in The Hobbit?
The Arkenstone is the greed from wealth and money that everyone has. You know how everybody wants money, especially Thorin, because he's directly affected by the Arkenstone from his grandfather.
That is absolutely correct, Ethan. You now have 200 points and get to choose the next question.
Can I have symbolism 100?
Okay, the question is, what does the ring symbolize in The Hobbit?
So, well, I know this one. The ring symbolizes the evil and corruption that is caused by power throughout the book.
That is absolutely correct, Naren. You have 100 points, and you get to choose the next question.
Thank you, Spencer. I would like plot analysis for 500, please.
Okay, the question is, how did religion affect the story of The Hobbit? Please watch the following clip to get the answer.
Guys, we must go this way.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm familiar with these areas from my past childhood experiences.
I think I can answer this one. So in the clip, Gandalf clearly is a Christ figure since everyone is following him. And it also, in the book, there are underlying themes of good versus evil and grace when Bilbo spares Gollum's life.
Delightful answer, Michael. You've now taken a commanding lead, and you get to choose the next question.
Well, thank you, Spencer. I would like to choose characterization for 100.
Okay, so the question is, what type of character is Bilbo?
Is he edible?
No, Ethan. Well, Bilbo is a round character as he expresses many traits throughout the story. He's also dynamic he goes from a little kid from the Shire to coming on an adventure to like the wilderness and to the Lonely Mountain. He's also a foil to many characters of the book, such as the dwarves and Gollum, as he doesn't he resists his temptation to go to power, and that makes him a foil to most characters in the book.
That is absolutely correct, Naren. Now you get to choose the next question.
I would like symbolism for 500, second column, please.
Okay. The question is, does nature symbolize anything in The Hobbit? Please watch the following clip to get the answer.
Okay. I'll save you!
I can answer this one. So, as you can clearly see in the clip, the dwarves and Bilbo narrowly escape the wolves by climbing in the tree and then are heroically saved by a brave eagle's aerodynamic maneuvers, which parallels to nature's symbolic meaning of safety, protection, and salvation for the company.
That was a smashing answer, Michael. You've now cemented your lead in first place, and now you get to choose the next question.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me, Spencer. I'll select symbolism for 300.
So the question is, what could the Shire symbolize in The Hobbit?
Oh, I actually know this one. Okay, so, in The Hobbit, the Shire represents the dream lifestyle from the 1930s with its serenity and peaceful surroundings and how everyone really works together. It just really showcases the perfect dream lifestyle from the 1930s, which is when J.R.R. Tolkien, also known as John Ronald Reuben Tolkien, wrote this book.
Wow, Ethan, I'm impressed. You actually got that right. And you get to choose the next question.
Let's see. I think I would like to go with characterization for 400.
Okay, the question is, how does Gandalf's syntax characterize him? Watch the following clip to get the answer.
Surely you don't disbelieve all the prophecies just because you helped them come about. You don't suppose all your adventures and escapes were managed by mere luck, just for your sole benefit? You're a very fine person, Mr. Bilbo Baggins, and I'm quite fond of you. But you really are just a little fellow in a wide world after all.
Gandalf's syntax really differentiates from the dwarves because he uses long and compound sentences to show his superiority over them almost, and he phrases his sentences queerly to show how he's different. He's a different race from the dwarves, and yeah.
That is absolutely correct, Shrey. That was a very good answer, and you get to choose the next question.
400 plot analysis.
Okay, the question is, what is the main internal conflict throughout The Hobbit?
Okay, so the main internal conflict is between his Baggins side versus his Took side. And his Took side is more of his adventurous, wild side, whereas his Baggins side is more of his conform to society side. So, yeah.
Yeah, so like with the Baggins, he really wants to have his day planned out. He doesn't want to change from anything he normally does, his daily routine. But then with his Took side, he just does things spontaneously, and sometimes that means that he suffers the consequences of his actions.
It gets him in trouble sometimes.
Both of you, that's absolutely correct. You guys can split the points for this one, and we're actually out of time, so we will be moving on to Final Jeopardy.
But first, an ad from our following sponsors.
Please buy this Black Arrow, $25 a piece. Beautiful build. It has nice feathers, giving it more aerodynamics. the spike at the end, very sharp and sturdy, will pierce any animal of your liking. It's great for big game hunting, especially since it's so sturdy, and the reinforced steel does not break easily.
This arrow also had a huge emphasis in The Hobbit. It was a symbol for hope, as it was responsible for killing Smaug the dragon, who was destroying the town near the Misty Mountain.
Yes, like he said, the arrow symbolizes the hope for the people of Lake Town, which is why you should buy this black arrow and give hope to all the people that need it.
Thank you. Jeopardy will now continue.
For this special edition of Final Jeopardy, we've moved to a new setting. This edition of Final Jeopardy will have two parts. The first part will be a discussion over other pieces of literature that have similar themes to The Hobbit. And the second part of the discussion will be talking about some plot points of The Hobbit that you enjoyed. And I will choose the winner based on who had the best discussion. Welcome to the special edition of Final Jeopardy. We have our 4 contestants, and this will be a discussion format. And the first topic will be other pieces of literature, and you guys will just pick any piece of literature that has similar themes to The Hobbit. Michael, you're in the lead. You get to start.
Well, thank you. So I believe that Aragorn from the Inheritance series really relates to and compares to the Hobbit, because Bilbo, like the farmhand from Aragorn, is very, poor,
Unfledged.
Unfledged, unfledged. And really relates to the Hobbit in many ways, because, Bilbo, he's kind of small and, not that big of a man in this world. And then the farmhand, he's really poor and he doesn't have anything.
Would anybody else like that?
I'd like to add the Redwall series. It's like this series about little creatures and how it's like replaces humans and like society with the society of animals. But a lot of the greatest heroes in the series are mice, which are actually the smallest animals. Just like Bilbo started out, he was like a small hobbit, he was timid. And then in the end, he turned out to be the greatest hero and the most pure at heart.
Anybody else have any?
A lot of superhero movies, they start off as people that aren't heroes. For example, like Spider-Man. At the beginning, he gets bullied at school. People make fun of him, but as he progresses and he reaches his not adult stage, but maybe the 17th, 16th, he becomes a hero. He takes on leadership roles, which Bilbo, you can see he does that as the power transitions from Thorin to Bilbo. You can sort of see that shift of gradual power, and you can see Bilbo taking on a leadership role, which fares similarly to Spider-Man.
Yeah, especially after how Spider-Man got his powers, and then for Bilbo, it would be when he got the ring, is when he started to see the power come his way. So it's true.
Naren, would you like to add anything?
I think Good Night Moon really parallel to The Hobbit.
Why is that?
I just feel it, man.
Do you have the evidence?
Textual evidence.
Just give me 10 minutes. I'll give you something.
We're going to take a break. Hear a word from some of our sponsors.
Buy this right now!
Yes, these buttons were actually lost by Bilbo as he was escaping the goblins in the Misty Mountains. The loss of these buttons is actually really significant as it parallels to his movement towards his Took side and away from his Baggins side. Buttons are a symbol of a more peaceful and more conservative lifestyle, which is his Baggins side, and the loss of these buttons emphasizes his move towards his Took side. And now I'll hand you over to my sales representative, Michael.
Buy this right now. $250 each. Oldest one right here. That's a real keeper right there.
1928-47.
This one, very unique, basic, but unique. Very, very unique. This one kind of looks like a wheel, that's what I like to think of it, but very nice, very nice. And then this is what I call the dandelion, because, look at it. It looks like a dandelion. That's the daisy, because It's a daisy, of course.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's our buttons.
Welcome back to part 2 of this special edition of Final Jeopardy. Now we'll be discussing just any literary devices that you liked in The Hobbit. You can talk about any literary device you want. Please begin.
So, I feel that the literary elements that J.R.R. Tolkien used in The Hobbit were very essential to the whole book itself. I really like that because in the book he used a paradox, shrilling trumpets, and that really meant something to me because trumpets to me are really relaxing and they give me a good vibe, and shrilling almost is like offsetting and
Negative connotation.
yes, it's off-putting to me.
I understand. I'd like to, not only the literary elements, but like just book in general, especially after you watch the movie. J.R.R. Tolkien goes into so much more great depth into what happens in the book, like specific details about some things you may not notice in the movie. I especially like that. And overall, the storyline is good. Like follows, especially as Thomas C. Foster's How to Read Literature Like a Professor, follows some of those same elements as like communion, eating, and like especially like an adventure, like someone's going on an adventure and like specific elements. And I think Bilbo finds it. And there's some stock like characters like a dragon, Smog, and just all those elements combined. And I really like the book.
And then there are also some really good allusions to other texts. So like how he alluded to the Norse mythology and to Old English texts like Beowulf. I thought that was really interesting.
So I noticed how Tolkien uses setting to describe how the Hobbit is developing throughout the book. In the beginning, for example, he lives in like a peaceful place where the grass is green and like everything's all good and fine. But then as you progress through the book, you can see like Bilbo taking on multiple adventures, which is like he describes how the trees are on fire and the setting changes and it becomes more aggressive and like gaunt almost. So as I can sort of see how Tolkien uses the setting to his advantage.
Yeah, and then this also goes along the setting a little bit. He uses a lot of color. So like at the beginning, he uses a lot of bright colors to symbolize how happy and peaceful the Shire is, how it's like the dream lifestyle. But then after, as he goes along the journey, he uses darker colors at times when the company's running into hard times. And like when they encounter the dragon, he uses dark colors, especially when they first enter the mountain and they realize the dragon is still there and it's still present danger to them.
And also, like we talked about this in the Jeopardy, also the like badness that took side of him is also a reoccurring element, and I think that really places like fact how to characterize Bilbo and how it shapes him through his actions.
Mm-hmm. And it really helped with like developing Bilbo as a character throughout the entire story.
Certainly. Alright, that brings it into this special edition of Final Jeopardy. We will be announcing the winner shortly. Based on the prior discussion, I've chosen Michael Gagne as the winner of the discussion, and he will be receiving a bonus 1,000 points to add to his lead. Let's head back to the studio.
But real quick, another ad from our sponsors.
Save the river and save the mountains because of the importance it plays throughout the book.
Yes, the river in the story, The Hobbit, parallels to the intensity of the situation. When Gandalf and the dwarves are strolling through the woods, the river is at peace. But when they're at conflict, the book says the river was raging. Therefore, you can see the river has a huge emphasis throughout the story. It does not deserve the poor treatment that it is receiving.
Please, save this beautiful river and these beautiful mountains. Please, for the sake of mankind.
The following program will now continue.
Alright, man of the hour right here. Michael Gagne just won this Jeopardy game by a good bit. How do you feel?
I feel great, and I would like to thank my parents for doing this for me, and thank all my supporters and my haters, of course. Thank you.
So, how did you acquire so much literary analysis of The Hobbit?
I fell upon a book one day. I mean, a Hobbit book, just perfectly new, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read the book. Read it, and I loved it, and I just kept reading it and reading it. And my lit teacher, Miss Miller, she really was a figure for me, a role model.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Mhm.
So the final Jeopardy round is getting pretty intense. You guys were having a lot of literary discussion there. How do you feel about that?
I thought it was very productive, and I thought, it was a good discussion. Really well planned, and well thought out,
All right, there you heard it, folks. Your champion, Michael
Thank
Gagne.
you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank
Hey, thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Champion. Thank you so much. Alright, it is my honor and my duty to present Michael Gagne with this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Alright, this has been Jeopardy. Please tune in with us next week. You'll be seeing this man again. It ought to be a good one.
Thanks for watching.